friends. I want to talk about our 40th high school reunion. Um, it was a really special time that we spent together, and I've done some reflecting about those years of the mandatory desegregation. In 1975, the county and the city schools were merged, and within 6 weeks, they had to set up a plan of how to integrate our schools. And if your last name ended with A, B, F, and Q, then you went to Central for your junior and senior year of high school. And if your resides was in Louisville, you were bused for 10 years out to the suburbs. And in 1975, when integration was just put in place, 98% of the white families in the suburbs didn't want desegregated schools. And those poor children who were bused out, not on their own accord, to the suburb schools were yelled at, they were screamed at, things were thrown at the buses, there were kind of riots going on, and I just can't imagine how it felt to sit in their seat. And then we get to our class, and we graduated in 1982. In 75, we were going into 6th grade. What is it that had our parents send us to Central? I have a friend who opted out because he had allergies. Lots of different families moved to Oldham County or put their kids in private schools. I think that we are special in that our parents sent us into an integrated school. And that just makes us a very, the idea was inclusive and not exclusive. We had people from Prospect going to classes with projects. The governor's son went to school with a mom from the YMCA making hourly minimum wage. And it was just such an amazing thing, our time at Central. Now let's go 40 years later, and our society is as divided as we can imagine it was when the schools were integrated. And here we sit in a time where, despite evidence, whomever on either side digs in deeper to whatever their position is. This is a time for all of us to come together and not to be exclusive. There have been some conversations on this page about only having our reunion for the class of 1982. I'm going to argue that it should be open for anyone who experienced that time with us, and particularly the class of 1981. Because of COVID, they didn't have a reunion, and they were an integral part of class of 82's experience at Central. How many other classes would have ever ended up with someone taking a mouse, putting him on a leash, and walking him through the 3rd floor of our high school? We just had so many amazing times together. So my call for you today, and I stand here in front of the Capitol, not to advertise, for my campaign or anything like that, but to just bring into account how divided our society is today. And we experienced one of the most amazing things that someone could experience in our time at Central High School. And I'm encouraging you to support having all of the classes join us in our reunion so that we can be the change that our parents and our legislators and our society wanted to have when we were a part of mandatory desegregation. I'd also like to reach out to those of you who are from the resides from Central High School, who not only had to go for 10 years to a suburb school, but then had to, have all these different people come into your school building and to acknowledge just how powerful that experience was. I'm calling for our reunion to be a first step to bring everyone together. How in the world did a global pandemic become so politicized. We need to come together. We need to share our memories. We need to bond together as a society, and I think we can be the beginning of the change that we want to see. We can share our memories. We can relish in the fact that there was no social media recording us while we did everything that we did. And we can have the most amazing weekend with our friends from 40 years ago. Thank you very much.